Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Rulu here. I hope you guys doing good, and today I'm doing for you another custom Lego kit review. So what we have here is a kit by Brickmania, which is a U-96 conning tower. Pretty cool kit. Well, this is just a sleeve as you can see, but it comes with 3 minifigs, and it's the skill level 3 out of 5, which I think building this, it was a little more difficult than that, maybe 4 out of 5, but it is what it is. And I have a nice little image from the other side of the fix as well. So this is a limited edition kit, as you can see here, and I built this kit live, so I do appreciate and thank everyone who came to check out my live stream of this pretty awesome build. And now to kind of give you a little bit of visualization how the U-boat, specifically this U-96 U-boat, will look like in the full scale. This is here. This model here is made by Kobe, actually. Let's go ahead and try to see if I can work it with the size of it. And this is in 1/44 scale, kind of model build. And the conning tower is right here. So this, what we're going to look at right now on Brickmania set, is going to be just this top section over here. But yeah, this is kind of more or less for the reference, so you know exactly how then the actual sub would look like. All right, let's go ahead and put the Kobe aside and look at the Brickmania build. So here we go. I'm going to try to fit it on the screen. And as per usual, before jumping into the actual build itself and kind of going through all the details, I am gonna talk a little bit about the background of the U-boats in maybe general, and about this specific model, which is this U-96 boat. And when it comes to the U-boat kind of history, especially for Germany, I'm not expert whatsoever at this stuff, so I just kind of read. Although again, I love the topic, I love the U-boats themselves, especially from World War II, for many reasons. One of them actually because I went to kind of maritime or ship museum here in Tallinn, and I actually saw pictures. Maybe I put them right now right here too as well. I did some pictures of a U-boat, and this is Estonian U-boat. Of course, it was manufactured not in Estonia, it was manufactured in England, which is so cool, so fascinating to see that U-boat multiple times. Actually, you can climb inside and just check out a bunch of stuff. So just from there, I'm already kind of fascinated and sold on the U-boat concept itself. But either way, yeah, that's aside, my museum trip aside. I do want to talk a little bit about the history from the German perspective. Germans were pioneers with the U-boat kind of manufacturing. They started doing it already before World War I. I know Krupp already was manufacturing U-boats in 1905 or earlier and selling them to Imperial Russia to fight the Japanese. And then during World War I, Germans extensively used U-boats, a kind of early version of U-boat, to fight off the blockade or British blockade that they put around the Germany towards the late of the kind of World War I. And then during World War I, they actually were quite successful, sinking a lot of vessels and one-off type of ships. And actually, in one way, you can say it was successful. They were very, very effective in that sense, but in another sense, they actually triggered in a way to have United States entering World War I, especially towards the end of the war, because German U-boats did such a great damage, sinking even American ships. That being said, Germans also used extensively submarines or U-boats in World War II warfare. Actually, there's a name for that. It's called Battle of Atlantic. And this kind of submarine warfare lasted quite a long time. Actually, the United States has its own submarines, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to focus mostly right now at the German submarines. And what they do, they would normally just target kind of ships. But then, of course, since there was a lot of submarines and then Allied knew about it, they would have escorts and convoys. They would not travel kind of like one-off as they did in maybe World War I, which was like an easy target. And then to kind of counter that, Germans also used a little bit of this kind of wolf pack tactics when they were attacked the larger convoys with many of the U-boats. And U-boats were like, for World War II Germans, they were operating all over the place. This specific one that we're looking at, the U-96, was kind of all around Atlantic and off coasts of England, France, and so on. They didn't venture out too far, but they were like this long-range submarines that would go further out into even Indian Ocean, even as far as Gulf of Mexico, which is right by United States borders. And overall, German U-boats inflicted a lot of damage to just the kind of ships and a lot of this logistical kind of transportation between, you know, United States and the Allies in Atlantic. However, there was a lot of kind of countermeasures put into place as well against the U-boats, and those were kind of successful. As the countermeasures, for example, like there was difficulty of communication, for example, with Wolfpack, a lot of those like radio stuff was intercepted by the Allies, and kind of the depth charges used, sonars were used against the U-boats kind of easily to be detected. And of course, you're in this vulnerable kind of situation. We are in a little tube that sinks under the water, and I think that also Allied captured using depth charges. One of the German U-boats where they extracted a lot of the codes, more specifically related to Enigma, right? So the Enigma codes were cracked, so there was a little difficulty in communication. Although U-boats were very effective in disrupting logistics and communication for the Allies in Atlantic, how successful they are, I guess it's someone else to decide, or it could be arguable, as I guess half of those produced were either drowned or captured. And if we're talking about the kind of number of people or Kriegsmarines or losses in that sense of human losses, we have about 40,000 recruited and 30,000 unfortunately passed. So this was a very dangerous job for Germans at the front. 5,000 I think out of them were captured, and very little of those guys that were kind of part of this those Kriegsmarines that were part of the U-boat flotillas survived. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but that kind of gives you how dangerous this really U-boat work was. And if we talk now about the specific U-96 boat, which is type 7C, I hope I say it correctly. This one belonged to actually 7th U-boat flotilla, and you can tell it by this kind of marking right here, which is pretty cool. Swordfish. And I'm going to do a little bit cheat sheet. I'm actually going to use a box for Kobe that has all the bunch of stats in there, and I'm going to show you here the picture of that. But essentially this was commissioned in 1940s. It was sank in March of 1945 by United States bombers. Yeah, it was sank in a submarine pen in north of Germany, or I guess some kind of pier. And this specific boat, I think it was 700 of those, I think, manufactured, or 703. So I just want to put that number here really quickly. It had a diesel engine and also electric engine. So diesel would be used when it's on the surface, and electric would be while it's in a kind of diamond configuration. And maybe you can recognize this boat also from another pretty famous movie, Das Boot, or The Boat in English. So it's this, I don't know if it's this model was specifically inspired by the movie or or was inspired by the actual U-boat. It doesn't matter, but either way, it's here. Let's go ahead and maybe have a closer look. I don't know, I'm gonna really try to make it happen here. And look at the printed elements over this conning tower. And if you don't know, the conning tower itself, inside of it, you do have like, it's in a sense like a operational room that has everything that maybe commander or crew needs to have to operate the U-boat. You do have inside, for example, like the steering wheel, you have a radio right here, you have a binoculars and periscopes. So those is all kind of located and comes out of the conning tower, as you can see here. And let's have a look, maybe, or maybe I can zoom. Let's go ahead and have a look at the printed elements that Brickmania put here, and those are amazing. We have this, once again, kind of green sword insignia. We have some hatches. We have this U-boat kind of U-boat life preserve and hatch on this side as well. And on this side, we don't have any hatches printed, but we do have, oh, okay, well, men down, men down. We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to the minifix in a second as well. And then we have, again, life preserve and insignia printed here. I'm going to remove the minifix just really quickly. Keep this guy here for now because I think he does not disturb. But there are prints on the inside of conning tower as well. So we have a hatch print. I don't know how well can you see. That's pretty cool. And the hatch does open, and we have this German World War II U-boat compass, which is pretty amazing as well. That pretty much covers all the prints. I do want to mention there is a flag printed as well on this, and there's no swastika. And I think Brickmania just doesn't print swastikas whatsoever. I mean, I personally, I'm gonna put it out there, I do like to be historically accurate. I have no problems with swastikas, but hey, I get it. Some countries don't appreciate that. I know you cannot have this in Germany or sell to Germany. And if that's the case, then of course that's understandable. And then there's, since this is a display kit, we do have a little bit of a plaque, U-96 type U-boat written right here as well. So yeah, very cool, nice details when it comes to prints. I did add a little bit of this kind of aftermarket base plate that does resemble water. Of course, then this black part maybe needs to be removed, but I think it does look pretty good. Anyways, let's hop into the fix. Give you a little zoom on the fix. Those, I feel like they are heavily inspired by this Das Boot movie from 1980s. And we have just a crewman. It has a very nice pom-pom 3D printed hat, sailor's hat. So well done here, Brickmania. Put this guy here. I don't know the characters' names, I do apologize. This is not the captain. I think this is like a captain's not the commander, I guess, maybe a captain assistant. Very nice sweater, custom cloth element. And I think Brickmania used to do this back in the day as well. So good to see this to come back. Cappy 3D printed, very nicely done. Yeah, no hair on this guy. And binoculars, legs, top notch minifix. Well done on those. And let's go ahead and get the commander. Actually, this is the U-boat commander, as far as I can remember from the movie. And he does have a little bit of hair, beard, 3D printed custom hat. I do have a very similar hat from a BF-109. So the tropical one. Now if we look at it has a little like kind of a U-boat commander shirt sticking out, brown jacket. So very well done. Like I mentioned before, it comes with 3 minifigs. So here they are. And now I just kind of remembered to mention one thing. I don't know if it's important or not, but specific to this 96 boat, this one made, well, throughout its, I guess, U-boat career, made about 11 patrols and sank 27 ships. I don't know, that's just some information. I just kind of want to throw that there as well. And of course, then it used torpedoes, right, to sank. And the way, I was actually curious how it works. The U-boats were able to fire torpedoes either being on the surface, and a lot of times that's what they did. They were on the surface at night and they would fire those into the vessels and then kind of deep dive afterwards. Or they could have been on like a lower kind of dive levels where you can still see with the periscope, so they will shoot that way. But either way, they were able to shoot torpedoes either on the surface or below the surface. Just kind of want to throw that as well as a kind of fun fact if you didn't know. But either way, so maybe a couple of things while we added, just to mention maybe some critiques while I was kind of building this thing. Well, first, the biggest one that I have, I do have a little bit of issue with the price because you don't kind of get a lot, and I don't mention a lot price in my Brickmania reviews, as we kind of aware that those kits are kind of expensive as it is, and it takes a lot of effort and a lot of things that go into those kits to make it possible. But still, for the number of parts, it was fairly expensive. I think the MSRP in the dollars was $650, which I think it's a little excessive. And I would, for that kind of price and for number of parts that this here, which is 700. And again, I love the fix, I love the prints, everything is great. I would really appreciate if maybe it could have been a little extension here, or at least an option for this kind of extension, and a deck gun. I think for the price paid, there could have been a little bit more to this build. I would love to see the deck gun right here, although there is a AA gun, which anti-air gun right here. I think I didn't do the close-up, but then I will at some point. And actually, yeah, good to mention it. It does have prints on it as well. You do have that sight prints, and you have a ammo magazine there as well. But yeah, just having a deck gun would be a really super good addition. Also, I feel like personally there's just not enough maybe studded elements or kind of jumper plates, so you can kind of place the minifigs, because if you move this around, the minifigs don't really stay, kind of fall on you here. Yeah, that basically is kind of the only gripes I had. Again, I mentioned a little bit about the flag, but it is what it is. Can't really do much about it. And also, someone mentioned in the comments, I was looking at the video, that overview video that Brickmania had, it does miss those kind of lights that you have, the red and green. Maybe just quick addition of those lights here that U-boats normally have, the kind of indicator lights, they turn green or red or whatever. That would be nice as well, just kind of make it a little accurate. I don't think it would be a big adjustment. But on that, that's the U-boat. I hope you liked the review. When I first originally got this U-boat, it was like, and even I did when unboxing, it's like, it's either the worst purchase that I made or the best purchase that I made. And now having this build, having seen this on display, and how, in my opinion, it looks pretty amazing with all the minifigs and everything, I have to say this is probably one of the best decisions I made, and one of the best kits that I do own now, especially for display purposes. So for the price, again, not so sure, but just the overall as a kit, I would definitely recommend it. Of course, now I believe it's out of stock. You might have 1 or 2 copies left on Brickisimo. And actually, I did pick up some more. I know this video will never end, right? I did pick up some more of kind of Team Sea Kriegsmarine, so I can definitely build a little bit of a mock. That's kind of my idea. I do want to do kind of either a sub pen or a little pier, as you can probably see at the end of Das Boot movie. So I did pick up a few of them kind of Kriegsmarines, And this is the Brick Soldiers minifix. I think they look pretty amazing. You can definitely check out my whole videos. You can have a close-up on those. And here I do have it. Yeah, so before I ran out of memory again, that's what I was saying. That's the TMC minifig I have here as well, with the China variant cap, which I think looks pretty good. So definitely gonna add in this guy as well to some kind of mock, hopefully, or mock diorama. So here we go. That's the U-boat hunting tale. I hope you enjoyed this pretty, I guess, informative review. And if you did, please go ahead and put a like on this video, and I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye for now.